Beneath the stars, the ancient rhythm calls. The flame carries our stories to the heavens. Listen and find the path of our ancestors. I am an Ethiopian woman. My grandmother was born under a sky that had no name for satellites. She called the stars Kaukab, little lights that carried the stories of our fathers, our mothers, the kings, and the prophets. She taught me to read the sky the way you read a letter from a beloved. The Milky Way was not a galaxy to her. It was the river where the souls of the righteous walked to meet the dawn. Now I look up and I see a new river. A river of lights that move in straight lines, marching like soldiers. They do not blink like the stars. They do not whisper. They hum with the sound of machines. They call them Starlink. They belong to a man named Elon Musk, a child of the West, a child of wealth, a child who looks at the stars and sees not mystery, but territory. He calls us all children of the stars. But I must ask you, my listener, whose children are we? In my country, Ethiopia, we are the cradle of humanity. The oldest bones of your ancestors rest in our soil. Lucy Dinknesh, we call her, meaning you are wonderful. I walked this earth before any nation, before any flag, before any satellite. We are the original children of the stars. We did not need rockets to reach the sky. We reached it through prayer, through song, through the smoke of incense rising from the churches of Lalibela, carved from the very rock of the earth. And now I am told that these satellites will bring connectivity. They say they will give internet to the remote villages, to the children who have no schools, to the farmers who need to know the weather. I hear this and I do not reject it entirely. I am not a fool. I know the world is changing. My own children use phones. They watch videos from America. They dream of cities they have never seen. But I am the messenger of my ancestors, and I must speak the truth that sits heavy in my chest. The sky is not empty. The sky is not a blank space for you to fill with your wires and your signals. For us, the sky is a library. It is a cathedral. It is a graveyard of our kings and a nursery for our dreams. When you put a satellite between me and Orion, you are not just blocking light. You are blocking the path of my grandmother's spirit, which travels that road every year during the festival of Mescal to visit the flames of our ancestors. I have read what the Māori say in New Zealand. They say Starlink cuts through the sacred path of the Pleiades during their Matariki ceremony, the release of the dead to the stars. I wept when I read this, because I understood. We have the same grief, we have the same sky, and we have the same question. Who gave you permission to build a fence around our heavens? You call Elon Musk a child of the stars. I see him differently. I see a man who has built a constellation of his own making, a constellation that answers not to God, not to nature, not to the elders of any tribe, but to a board of directors. He speaks of expanding consciousness. But I ask you, whose consciousness? Is it the consciousness of the Amazonian shaman who reads the stars for healing? Is it the consciousness of the Bedouin who navigates the desert by the North Star? Or is it the consciousness of Silicon Valley, a place that has never known drought, never known famine, never known what it means to watch the sky for rain? I do not say this to hate. I say this because I am a mother. And a mother must warn her children when they are walking toward a cliff. You see, there is a word in Amharic, so. It means human being. But it also means to be connected. Not to a network, not to a server. To each other, to the earth, to the sky. When you sit under a tree in my village, you are connected to the person who planted that tree 100 years ago. When you drink water from the river, you are connected to the rains that fell 1,000 miles away. That is the internet we have always known. It is slow, it is patient, it does not buffer. But this new internet, this Starlink, it is fast. It is everywhere, and it is hungry. It eats the silence. It eats the darkness. It eats the time we used to spend just being. Watching the stars, telling stories, remembering who we are. So, what is my message to you, child of the stars? My message is this: do not let the machine steal the sacred. Do not let convenience erase mystery. Use the satellites if you must. Let them connect the sick to doctors, the lost to maps, the lonely to love. I am not against progress, I am against possession. The sky belongs to no one, not to Elon Musk, not to America, not to China, not even to Ethiopia. It belongs to the Creator, and the Creator placed it above all of us. Rich and poor, black and white, believer and skeptic. So that we might look up and remember that we are small, and that is a beautiful thing. When you see the string of lights crossing the night, do not just see technology. See responsibility. See the shadow of colonialism returning not in ships, but in signals. And ask yourself, am I a child of the stars or am I a child of the satellite? Because the stars are eternal. They were here before your grandfather's grandfather. They will be here after every satellite has fallen back to Earth and burned. The stars do not need us. But we need the stars to remind us of our place. I am an Ethiopian woman. I have walked the land of Lucy. I have prayed in rock-hewn churches. I have held my children under a sky that has never lied to me. And I am here today not to curse the satellites, but to bless the heart that remembers what the sky is for. It is for wonder. It is for humility. It is for the soul. Let us not sell it for bandwidth. Go in peace, look up, and remember, you are stardust, not data. And so, the messenger returns to the dust from which she came. But her words remain, carved into the air like the ancient Giz script on the walls of Lalibela. She asks us to remember. The first internet was not fiber optic. It was the smoke of a fire rising to the ancestors. The first satellite was not made of metal. It was the moon, faithful, patient, unowned. Elon Musk builds his constellation. He calls his children stars. But the Ethiopian woman knows a deeper truth. You cannot launch what already belongs to the sky. You cannot claim what has been sacred since before memory. You cannot own the light that guided the Magi, the slaves, the prophets, and the wandering ones who had nothing but the stars above them. She does not ask you to smash your devices. She does not ask you to return to a world without connection. When you look up, pause. Before you see the satellite, see the star. Before you measure the signal, feel the silence. Before you connect to the world, remember you are already connected. Connected to the earth that holds your bones. Connected to the sky that holds your spirit. Connected to the ancestors who walked before you, and the children who will walk after. Under the same sky, with the same questions, in a world that will either remember or forget what it means to be human. The Ethiopian woman is not a prophet of doom. She is a prophet of return. Return to awe, return to humility. Return to the ground beneath your feet, and the light above your head, and the breath in your lungs, which is older than any satellite, deeper than any signal, and more precious than any connection the world can sell you. She has spoken. The sky listens. The stars wait. The stars are not a commodity. They are a covenant. And now, the choice is yours. Alchemize Soul 33. The sky is not for sale. Remember her name? Dinknesh. You are wonderful. The sky is not for sale. A message from the cradle of humanity. Remember, you are stardust, not data.